Hey baby, buddy. These are fucking broadcasting that shit through the TVs and people's homes around the world now.
Family lunch and Justin Smith. People selling supposed silver plasma, stating it's not iron or coil. They're just using 2 silver rods. And they say no salts and no chemicals. Brand new. Try to copy this. People selling that shit for $350 a gallon. People are actually buying it. Not us, no. I didn't make it. Your silver plasma with 2 silver rods. If it's not coil silver or iron silver, it's stupid and uses salt when making stuff like that, right? But the Keshe Foundation people do all day long. And then rinse the salt away and study the collates. Diseases live in you.
Every time I try to upload one of your videos, I show what these motherfuckers have been doing.
Most people don't even tell you to use the oil.
And these go, bought that shit to say that.
Or anything.
Stuff that's against COVID rules, blah blah blah. So, I think I don't shit up.
TDS told us all Soviets are the first relief.
I had the phone that I was using to do a screen recording. When I do such, it would blow up, or in a sense, it would zoom in.
Reactor 13. Online. Show you something in a second. Hold on.
This is how this was not calculated to be. Now, it has turned out to be that way. The biggest loser in this game will be the United States of America. You will understand in the next 4 weeks if the event takes place the way we see it. The state of Brazil has been first report. Soon, when they will make an announcement on President Japan regarding supporting the Brazilian Keshe Foundation, you have to set up the way we have done in Iran. You set up an emergency team. And in that emergency team, you find out who's holding gas where, in which state, and how fast you can get to the knowledge seekers. The Keshe Foundation, Brazil, has to become active directly with all the Brazilians which are there, and a structure to be set up that it can carry on all the doctors who's carrying the technology and where. This is important for all of you as Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers. There's one thing for sure.
While I was sharing it.
Keshe Foundation management will have followed the procedure and follow the procedure we put out today. You're safe. We don't expect any mortality within the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers across the world who are familiar and use gases and made it
blue here to
just one
PRV,
second, please.
and then selling the meats to people for the last 4 years, and now trying to claim it with CIA, starting the disease in January, when as you see the disease started in November.
PCR test fucking pop up. Conventional tests do not show them. Why? Because these people have been breeding this stuff on purpose.
Samuel Bunch and Justin Smith, and they're selling after watching me
So
make my own food, they could not make it within the
sorry, there is somebody who's trying to be very clever on the Keshe Foundation family chat. Just go direct. Thank you very much, Rick. Just cover me for a second till I do that.
I think it's been removed, Mr. Keshe, so far as I can see, so I think it's under control now.
Okay, we had that whole night yesterday. People posting this.
I put in a complaint and I think they acted on it.
No, I already did it, yeah. It's
okay.
We had this on the Iranian channel, absolutely poured right in the middle of people trying to save their lives.
Yeah, definitely a deliberate misdirection there, trying to disturb the workshop today.
Yeah. It's done by the people from Germany. They followed the track and it's all ends up with red circle people. We inform you further while we are explaining these things. Italian police investigation on the murder of Fabio officially has been passed on by the Keshe Foundation supporters to the Italian police, and they're following it up. And if that procedure takes up, we'll take it up, and we will request for the rest of Red Circle immediately because we have enough evidence. This is what they are doing. This all comes through Germany. We are monitoring it because don't forget, these people have no scruples. Well, that's their problem. We had that 2-3 times. I had to delete last night. What is important to the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers is one thing. Make sure you have everything and you have enough to give to the others.
The pig research program where
we open a channel to each country. You do not open a channel to support your people. Every channel we control through the Keshe Foundation that people of that nation can come in, that we can monitor because people are in this panic. And many people, even the old knowledge seekers, I do not know how, they cannot support it or give the right information. So we try to centralize into a central organization, into what we call Central Committee Organization of the Keshe Foundation worldwide. We support. Italians will give you a chance to go back in on what we call Italy support. You talk in Italian, we monitor, we come in when you need help, and you allow Italian public to not come in. This will be set up by today. Don't set up anything which is not under control because we need to be able to support you. In the coming days, this is an announcement which will come internationally. Once we start holding and controlling the condition in Iran within the next 7 days, the Iranian Sepah teams will distribute the technology across the planet in groups of 30 to 50 officers from the Sepah of Iran. What this means, the only people who will travel into China during disaster or Italy will be members of the Sepah, equipped with the latest knowledge and technology to support nations. As we said, Sepah is universal, and we bring this beauty of Iran to all the nations. This is important for the Iranian central government and Iran Sepah to be ready to deliver this within the next 2 weeks. The Iranian Sepah will be part of the international rescue team, and most probably the only international rescue team which will carry all equipment necessary to support hospitals, governments, and officials till they train the officials in the right way. This is the only way we see that we can use such an elite force dedicated to safety of the nation to safeguard the international borders and the government. These are not mercenaries, they are men of peace trained to reverse the condition of what we call corona spread by the Americans. As usual, the Iranians have to clean up the mess these people do.
You guys have been
in this way, we'll announce in collaboration with the Iranian government and Sepah of Iran, which groups through Iran Foreign Office will contact nation by nation and fly in with the latest equipment to deliver the technology to safeguard and their teaching message to the Keshe Foundation to people. One of the most important things for the Keshe Foundation members is, as such, that do not dismiss anything. Do not dismiss a single call. Do not dismiss a sweat. I would like you condition team to record this part from now on, because this is important to all of you. And your lives, your family, and depend on it.
Keshe talk previous to this, where he claimed eye for an eye.
First thing, you have to know, as I explained in the other teaching, and I explain again in detail how this virus works. And a fundamental point to understand is this virus mutates. This is one thing that Gates Foundation did not calculate. They wanted to change the code that it reduces the population. But one thing they did not consider was the mutation of this virus. How it mutates will come and explain later on. But what we've seen in the Chinese structure and the Iranian structure is that you get rid of or you solve the problem with virus. If one is left, it mutates to a new one.
Like it states,
if one is left, it mutates to a new one. And every time it mutates,
swine flu,
it becomes stronger.
PSRV. And then the
reason it mutates is because now we understand the Keshe Foundation, to our knowledge, that viruses are packs of energy which they encircle magnetically by their field the cell in the body. What is the strange for other people? They do not understand how this virus is transmitting, for example, from Iran to Italy. Go back to the knowledge.
Virus program.
As you know, magnetic fields travel. And if you have the same strength, being from another part of the universe will reach Earth. That's why we see the depth of the stars in the sides of the universe.
Watch my information. You see truth.
As you saw the map,
use intrinsic data field analyzers
as I explained,
devices that have been around for over 200
what
years.
is clearly indication of why it jumped from Iran to Italy.
True cold fusion plasma.
The Iranian
transmutation of
the Italians have deep-rooted in blood for centuries.
And make them into
and it was obvious. The next step from Iran was Italy.
And ionics and colloidals.
And as it jumped, to jump further, he has mutated to stronger.
Exactly what they're good for. And if they're compatible with you or not.
These people infected the environment in country, but they never counted on plasma technology of the virus. Now we see this rapidly mutating into North America, as many Americans are Italian descent. But the problem is, Italians have taken one corner of the United States, and the Iranian the other side in Los Angeles. And the disaster covers the whole of this nation.
You remember, people, I am explaining to you that they're making stuff
this must be seen clearly, and that's why they're actually growing in Italy. Why in Iran? The other point is that what we saw the change from China to Iran was very clear. I was expecting this, and when it happened,
English and other
understood was the seed spread very rapidly.
One cup, one life,
why?
Kool-Aid.
For centuries, Silk Road has exploded.
This guy's supposed to be about new energetic.
Now you can see.
He's talking about Darwinism and shit and eugenics information.
You can't find any English anymore.
This genetic modification by the gene itself will encircle the planet.
The problem they've been having, complaining and blocking me on Facebook.
We are in dark
YouTube.
ages of man destroying himself to the point of investigate. When you buy a patent to destroy, it destroys you.
When you are backed by the U.S. government to do what you're doing right now, and the other BRICS nations.
Now you understand how it will go.
Think about that.
So, what is important for you to realize that you cannot stop just because you have gone. What has happened? The virus has made a link into the cell through any of its combination of amino acids.
BP882 bacterial macrophage.
What is strange and what you have not understood and the world of medicine doesn't understand? This gene has emotion.
Replicate in your water, replicate over areas.
This gene, when they set it up, they never understood the world of the physics.
Looking at it,
He has created his own soul.
that bacterial macrophage intrinsics where it will eat
Sentient.
this virus.
If you look at the ground, what we call virus is like this, and then it has a second circle. The existence of the two leads to creation of magnetic fields, which gives it the life to mutate. This is why it's called the ground
No, it's not. It's called
virus,
because it has
and that's why they call it corona,
where it uses
because it sits like a ground over the cell. Exactly what we explained in the past 10 years, how the virus works and how the virus is. The shape of the ground or coronavirus is the shape of embedded, encircled two magnetic field, one of the plasma of the amino acid on the cell, and one of the energy of the virus. He has created his own life, and this will take shape better and better, and it mutates. Man went from Africa to Asia, India, and China, and it mutated by shades and colors according to be able to survive. This virus will be with us for a long time to come.
because you created it that way, or you thought so. With me and my friends, we will stop this. We're not
It
idiots.
envelops,
We have our
it encircles
and actually stand
the whole cell.
things. Scans the nesting fibers out to another radio.
The logic behind this by the Gates Foundation was to reduce the population. My message to Gates Foundation is very simple. We are 7 billion happily living on this planet. We've got our own folks as a big family. If the place is too small for you, you don't need to eliminate 7 billion. Eliminate 7 members of your family, then you don't need to suffer with us. What we see and what we have requested the Chinese government, and very soon will release data. We are aware and we know, as I said before,
I have more kids. I want you to see my kids not grow up in a world
They claim because those
slowly
people
rich
took
people
on
they got
memory
back
of video
all
good
they
of
get
playing something in this
1997
virus injection.
China and Russia
my friends
and
are great
Iran are all
scientists.
pushing the
So
As we saw with children immunization,
Bill Gates and American
we could
CIA
be heading
infected
for another
people.
disaster
fucking
with so much poison in
explained
the
our
body.
minds and took it over.
Yeah.
You understand?
This is time to tell, time to see.
You gotta hear the beginning of this shit that I missed. Sharing the links out, get other people to see.
So in this process, you can see how the virus is changing and mutating. It's
From last year,
Just
energy
March.
which has found the energy of the cell, and with it has created his own soul,
in produce.
which means he has a brain. He will dictate where he wants to go.
Still
Dictate where we make it go.
And he has so many diversions, his energy pack, which will go down the race channel to every nation. Now that you understand how this energy is transferring, it's very simple.
We can block your shit.
The cell has an energy pack, needs an amino acid.
like listeria uses flavins.
Your skin
Go from your
on
gut
the table. Your sweat
to your
on the
right.
chair. Your sweat somewhere else. And as these are weak now, the virus makes a connection to feed them, because in essence
He's describing like he did with
they came from the same amino acid structure field. This virus is transferring itself to the leftover residual of the body of the man. That's why when you touch the bottom of the layer, when you touch a node with somebody else's touch, it has carried into the weaker structure, and now it encircles it. You invite it by touching it. It connects first to your cell.
stuff can live outside the body for 96 hours.
It shows itself.
In the water and vomit and so forth.
What is interesting, if you go back to the few teachings before, I spoke about the emotion of the animals, and that's why it came from the seeds. In this position, now you understand. This virus has emotion. What is interesting, very simply, has a deep emotion.
Friend that we
It
made,
means
we talk
it
about
copies the emotion of the man who gets it. This is why some people walk away with it initially as good,
foundation says he
and then they catch it for the second time and they die. The sign of emotion of control of this cell became very apparent. The brain of the man, the skin of the man, and the cell of the lungs of the man are main part of operators of the emotion of the man.
cytokine storm. So that you can protect
As
your
the
lungs
skin,
from
the brain, and the lung are all of the same cell.
cytokine storm, chemokines, and also interferon, along with BPAH.
So, what happens,
Potentized broadcast
very strange,
written onto your
when you have asthma, you have an emotional problem, you see what happens with your breathing.
You're a dowser, radiology practitioner, meditator.
When you cannot speak,
You broadcast this.
you
You
cough.
showed across
When you get distressed, you cough.
pictures. It will help people.
So,
do
this shows
area.
the true nature of this virus.
Water, temperize your water as you're making
And
ionic
once
water.
enters your emotional circle,
Kill this stuff.
your emotional system, which your lung represents you. That's why you get asthma attacks and you spray yourself to kill it. But we don't sort out the emotion.
As
This time is a very powerful asthma.
this will kill the stuff
And what we see from all the reports in Iran
that has
and China,
millivolt of
a
700
very clear pattern
viruses
of
cannot
asthma attack, and then with a heart rate.
kills this stuff.
But they call it the infection of the lung.
It's able to live in. Henceforth, bleach and so forth.
It is, in a way, an asbestos, a very strong, powerful, but live and decision making. Let me explain to you how you die.
The way the pigs do.
This is from the report from Chinese health authorities and directly from the hospitals in Iran, from the doctors.
Pigs. Experimenting on the people to see if the health eggs actually work.
That's your body.
You understand, people? Those health eggs that they keep promising, that ain't ever come about. This is the human trials right now. Remember, carbon-14 comes from
This is your lungs.
the Nazis were burning
I make it very big.
like now, so they could
And this is your heart.
ships. And the ships of the Nazis and the ships of this motherfuckers is the same.
The virus
Wake up, people.
enters
Talk about the
through two channels.
95-year-old space program in Brazil.
Breathe into your nose
Out front.
or breathe into your mouth. go back to the teaching. This is the soul of the man. In so many ways, if you understand the depth of knowledge the way we do,
the Wuhan cup.
as I told you,
The doctors might be able to help you.
virus is a living being, and he has a soul.
So they can
He
harvest
has
you.
created himself an emotion. In passing in your, what we call, breathing channels, he transfers his emotion to the soul. And then soul understands and tells it where to go. Because soul cannot show the pain of the or feeling of the virus. So they create the arm, your leg, somebody's might open. Then it tells it where it's needed, how it can show its sorrow and pain to the body itself. Now you understand how you absorb it. How brain and the soul have decided this is where we create condition for it to find a place. In this process, as it takes position, your lungs, according to the scientific data, is flooded as it tries to create food for itself.
No, by a cytokine storm.
Changes the condition of the lung,
Release of interferons and chemokines.
it lives. What we know, as I explained to the doctors before, is that we know each lung works 1 hour on, 1 hour off. Even though they work, operational exchange of the energy for the blood is done on these sequences. Depending on when the virus enters
Or dowsers and
the lung which is active, or maybe the lung which is inactive, at rest, not really ready to defend itself,
and show them
allows the virus to set in.
and post things.
So it grows. And by the next breathings and the change of time, the second lung starts the transition of the virus. So what you have, a more advanced working against the weaker one. The two lungs start exchanging energy to build up, to support each other, and we see lungs getting flooded and change of condition. And it's strange, from the Iranian doctors who have been witness to many deaths, they report these people are extremely healthy, they're young, at least there's a guy who came, he's a mountaineer, and out of nowhere, they see cardiac arrest. And in the last 5 hours, they died
Activated water
from cardiac arrest.
adapted viruses. Any virus that can
All the patients with
from the gaseous
this virus
into the brain is a stealth-adapted virus and uses
die
electrostatic
of
electron
cardiac arrest. Now we understand how, as I explained in other teachings,
salts where they were
in this process of
ion away.
exchange of the energy between the two lungs, as they get everything,
Virus.
now they lock in into the energy
You gave
of
energy
the
to
heart.
the stuff to where it mutates it.
And the heart brings energy from the rest of the body, and they consume it. And the heart cannot cope with serving the body and the virus. And it goes to overrun and heart attack and death. Now we understand the process. We are dealing with the energy transfer emotionally and with the capability to mutate. With the traditional medicine, we know not. With the new Keshe Foundation and plasma technology, we know how.
Because we've been practicing
In the cup of life, which I gave you,
the cup of
I
life
specifically
that we
when I
used
did
for mutating the pigs.
accommodate this. I gave
We
you
also gave it some other things.
nanocopper and a zinc. Some of
Is it
the
nanocopper?
copper
metal zinc. Yeah.
The element of the zinc.
And it's an alloy.
So
it's
you
not
reduce hidden amount of ZNO. The copper creates UO.
But what about the salt?
And the copper and the zinc gives you CO2. Now you understand why this water works and why we insist on 50% if you don't have the cup CU, 30% CO2, and 20% ZN. As I said, if you understand the teaching of the Keshe Foundation over the years,
I cough because I take bong hits.
Is the elevator of the soul. So, in taking, reading, and covering, you keep on strengthening the soul. For it to strengthen the soul of the virus, to give it satisfaction of life. And this is how most of this process of reversal comes.
Out of the man's own mouth. So the virus doesn't fucking eat on you.
is to take the energy from the virus. CO2 is to create the connection.
And mutate it, like we did.
Now you understand why we said this process.
Because it's in our...
Now, I want to explain to you how you can check first if you have the virus. If you do not have cancers, you test what is known as a 10-second breathing trial. Every morning or in the day,
this man's gonna have
you hold your two nostrils, you close it with your two fingers, and you hold your breath.
For 10 seconds. The sky is falling.
If you do not cough or you do not run out of breath, 90% you're okay. But if within this 10 seconds you are forced to cough, or you see irritation of your throat to cough, or you see you cannot hold your 90% chance of have received a kind of infection by the virus, depending on which state you are.
How many
then you will see sometimes around 10 to 25 days from the first day when you test and you will notice this, you will show fever, you will show the rest of the virus infection. The reason is that this virus takes its own route straight away in the lung, so the lung is already carrying the virus, but you don't see it.
That's why I tell you people that
this is what we call matter state testing.
And to nebulize it.
Plasma testing, the process is different. If you have made yourself the gases of ZN, CO, and CO2,
the replacement for it,
you do two things. If you spray
ultraviolet light,
the gas water of this combination, what we call the cup of life,
sterilize the air, sterilize
on your head,
sterilize the surface,
and on your chest and your back, once a day, twice a day if you're worried.
Do like the pigs.
And you feel pain or headache or pressure, you're 100% infected.
Exactly. Because you're mutating the disease. Like they did with the pigs, where they made the pigs die.
Do not go for
swine flu,
psychosomatic and placebo because you don't need to have a headache.
PSRV.
But try to understand if there is a pressure. It's a magnetic field pressure.
The pigs
is the pressure you feel energy is transferring inside you.
Slaughterhouse inspection.
This is what we are looking for, not the headache that I take.
Selling the meat for 4 years.
If you feel
this
on the
from the
head,
CIA.
it means the energy transfer from the gans to
when he was there.
What we call the soul is taking place at a high level, and that energy transfer creates heat or what we call magnetic pressure. If it wasn't there, you cannot make it. The same is between your lung and the gas water you put outside.
occurrences.
And we told this before.
Super spreaders.
You feel the pressure. People say there is a pressure. They cannot breathe. Even in China, we have seen people who report pain when they use the gas. You can use the
human trials
on certain way or 90%, or you can check
trying to get the stuff to try to say that they're going to save the world, but they're fucking going to kill all of us.
This is a procedure that will be used in the hospitals by the doctors when they start using the gas technology for identification of people who have the virus or they don't. First physical, then through the gas.
Plasma and
if both are positive,
it kills, it does not
mutate.
It kills it. Further ragged axe practitioners work with us. What we have seen is we can eliminate this shit from the world's genome and from the
you got to understand
of Gaia itself.
If you can make for yourself 3 or 4 different cups of life, even though they're all from the same material, whatever, they create slightly different strengths of
space program.
Gas. And you need this to cover yourself for a long term, to cover from any mutation of the
other virus popped up in the lake next to where they're at.
Virus.
Their large space program that they have in Brazil. The lake next to them has this
same time.
Disease.
When you think you have it,
Nigeria.
Immediately, your immediate family, people who you've been with and where you've been, you go back, you inform, you give a copy, keep a paper, you say this is what you got to do. I think I've been infected, you better cover yourself.
All the states in America where this guy is at, all their American speaking groups, every leader of one of them is next to a military base.
If you
like Mark House
go and you're not aware, and you have overlooked or whatever, we start the next process. This is your head. This is your body. This is your arms. You have to follow this procedure without failure. As you understood, this disease affects the soul, and
we harvest during
the long. And in that process, the soul of physicality, which is the heart of the man, is in between. So, what you understand, the minute you are infected, the chain has been built. The separation of the physicality from the soul starts. Because they're aware of what is to come. You need to support both. The process has to be in this way.
It's funny after
the first thing you do, you spray your chest. You wet your chest with a gas water. Don't come up like every hour.
That this thing is aware. The correlation between a pit viper.
This is on the condition that you're infected. For prevention, we come to later. Every hour, once you tested, you had a headache, and you felt the tightness of the chest, and you did the test, you're coughing. This is your next step within 5 minutes. You put gas water on either side of your lung. What this does, it transfers the energy of the virus into the gas of what you put in, and this will dissipate into the atmosphere onto your clothing. So you're depleting the virus energy. This is all you can do. Don't forget, the heart is in the center of the two. If you look at it in reality with a brain, you have made your star formation. And in a way, gives a chance for the soul to take its flight. Then, what you do after you covered the body, immediately you cover your face with the spray or wet of the gas. Then you spray, please do not try to wash, try to spray gas water around your head. Again, by the same principle,
Since 2006.
you transfer energy out. And at the same time, you transfer energy in, satisfying the soul.
What he gives to the animals and gives you to drink.
The face is to take the energy from if the cells affected or landed on your face. The head is to elevate the soul because of the zinc you have.
Zinc bulk
The
does
third
nothing,
step is to
nothing
take immediately
to bacteria or viruses. Zinc
water, gas
plus
water,
ion
to wash any possibility
with
of any
E0
material of contaminated
positive
to
ion
be present at
energetically
the same time feeding the
kills
soul.
things. But
Every 15
plus
minutes
ion
to
itself
1
is
hour,
not using
you
because they
take
use salt.
1 sip.
That ion
What
goes
about
into
50
the
mil
salt. This man tells
of
people to use
gas water?
deionized, goes into it, and they wash that away.
Now,
Understand that.
the next step for you is
That they're using
to put the gas water in what we call hot bubble. You say whatever you call, make a Coca-Cola bottle with 2 holes in it. Then put a stick in it, a pipe, a straw to the bottom, and a straw in the up. And fill it up with the gas water, and you inhale. You inhale at least 10 minutes.
Which uses
every
electrostatic
hour.
electron to go
And
from
what you
your
do
gut
by
to your
inhaling,
lungs to your brain.
you
He's showing you how to
take
use
the energy
it.
inside, and by having the other energy which is weaker outside on the skin, you deplete the energy of the virus. You will lose your temperature within the first
Like the
hour if you have a high temperature. The temperature should come down within 1 hour to 3 hours max. The fever goes.
they
Do
got
not get
ear,
cold.
they got purple on their body. They got bloated.
If you had a coughing, depending on how bad the lung is damaged, will repair itself in over days.
Virus go in from the lungs to
You might
the
lose
intestine.
most of the irritation very rapidly
Yes.
too.
PRSV is a
The sweating will go.
sex.
Once you've gone through this process, you carry on for
Look at
2
the link
to 3
title
months.
of this video. Look in the shared video that I've shared to you with this. I'm going to be uploading
The
this
strangest thing is, you will stop
on
somewhere.
Facebook.
This is when the soul is satisfied and informs the arm to not give me any more water. We see this with all the technologies. When I used to help people, I always tell them when I gave them the system, they said, when do I stop? I said, I'll come back soon. The day you say, oh, I forgot to drink, is the day that you have reached the steps of completion. You bring the system back. Because when you're not hungry, you don't eat. When the body doesn't need it, you'll find out you forget doing it because there's no need for it. This is for recovery. Spray your body
So in the video
and back
after you show
every hour.
big test
If
trials,
you have
remember
seen
space
the positive sign of the breathing and the gas.
you'll only be able to make yourself
Then
comfortable.
spray the face first, every hour. Then spray the head, every hour. You do this for 3 days, and after that, you step down to prevention. That is, you keep yourself safe 2-3 times a day. Then you drink water every hour.
they did the pigs.
Directly with the water cans. Please do not drink from the cans itself. And if you follow this process,
you don't use a laser and so
you stand a good chance of surviving
and supposedly
the
it's
situation.
a nanoparticulate, right? How do you not see a nanoparticulate if you don't use a laser to be able to see? Because you can't see ions or anything like that. And you're making colloidals, silver, or ionic silver. You gotta use a laser, right?
Those of you who do not see the 90-second problem, the 10-second problem, and the 90% with the cancers, you feel it's okay, I'm not. Your life doesn't stop that way.
These poor people don't understand that.
For prevention,
it's giving you the stuff that's killing.
You spray your body
for PSRB, like the pigs,
every morning and evening.
You'll get this.
Just when you get up and just before you go to bed. You spray your face every morning and every evening. You spray your head.
Infect every people that is not doing this.
During the day, you need to drink at least 300 ml to 500 ml of gas water in the stages.
Otherwise,
and you need to inhale at least once or twice a day, 10 to 15
it will go back to your lungs.
This is recipe for preventing for you. But you have to do this with all the members of your family and the cat, the dog, and the door handle you spray, the house you spray, everywhere in the house you spray, as you have.
That's why they're killing all the
When you make your cancers, the first cancers, when there's a salt on it, you don't throw the water away. You can use that water to spray in the house, to spray the handles, because that residue of salt will keep some of the gas holding energy, and it can disinfect or get the energy of the virus. The sheets, the pillows, the bus you get on, don't be afraid. I spray this as a lunatic. It's my life. You wear a mask, always spray the mask before you take it off and wait for 3 minutes. Then take it off. Because the gas will go inside and change the position of the what we call any contamination. One of the worst things people keep on telling you is that when you put a mask on your face,
you need to use it.
Don't touch it. Because if the bacteria has come, has sit on it.
Copper dust infused into coconut oil. Do it around the lining. Put it on your hands.
But
cover
the biggest problem
nose,
is the other way.
face.
You have breath into the mask. And if you have the infection, the mask is infecting the others. When you get the mask, make sure you drop it in a gas water of CO or a cup of life. Make one box and put water in it, gas water, and drop these masks in it, because you have to deplete the energy of it. If you put it in a plastic bag, as I explained, your plastic bags, the advice you to do comes from the lack of understanding of the totality, because you remember and you see the connection.
400 millivolts.
Plastic is become a breeding ground
700
for holding to the virus.
Those viruses.
Never ever use a plastic bag to put your gas in. Paper bag is okay because it's still alive, but you can control it and you can soak it anywhere. On the other hand, remember to wash, to disinfect your hand with the gas water. You get on a plane, spray the plane. You get on a bus, spray the bus, because not only you disinfect yourself, you inspect others. And be very, very calm, because there's one thing. Using the technology, you have most probably protected yourself right now.
that they make by nano-coating copper by blow torching and by using dry and hot distilled water.
We get infected, but because we continuously use the material, people take those.
And then there's me, who I've been doing it the same way. So
as a central knowledge seeker, a bottle of cans water in the fridge, like a water bottle for drinking water, is the electric you needed.
Dielectric, or DC. And by using the water as the anode itself, water doesn't like to
it comes to your environment.
It compresses, gives you alluvial sand through low energy nuclear reactions, and
in the environmental energy pack, you are going to be very careful.
Onto whatever you're using.
Whenever you touch your fingerprint,
and you got these guys,
is the carrier. Carries the amino acid, and with it, the infection.
SC5 intrinsic data field. An SC5 1000
whenever you breathe is the carrier.
And an SC5
whenever you sit, you sleep, you touch, you kiss.
Different radionics and cyclotronic devices like a Marcel Fogel 18-sided tachyon crystal cut at 51 degrees by 50 minutes by 50
which has the amino acid combination
to make it good to the 6th phase of water where quantum totals were
which is
inside of glass quartz. But yet,
is on
plasma that stays.
We are looking. We're not raising the alarm. We are looking to see
that
the combination from iron will ever change to magnesium,
and
that we start seeing
resonance of it
infection among plants.
Changes it into plasma water.
Amino acid is the same. It's only the difference between the iron and
Victor Short,
what we call magnesium.
And the heavy side.
We have had 2 reports up to now of skin.
You have the vacuum flux happens. Place our plasma
being agitated when they spray the gas on.
And you'll see the 1 gallon drug start to sweat.
Doesn't show any rashes at the moment, but this irritation.
You can remove the vial. The vial
we are watching closely. If you see when you spray the gas on your skin and you get irritation, we are of school of thoughts that, as I said, the brain, the skin, and the lung are all the same. There is a possibility, we only seen 2 cases up to now, both by the reports we have, that
the SC5 1000
virus, through its mutation, is moving from the lung to the skin. And if this happens, we do not know, but assuming we are right, you will see literally flesh disappearing and getting infected.
Right. Like
we have not seen this stage yet. Mutation to the strength of the skin of the man and the level of emotion has not been seen. We have received 2 reports, and I informed the Iranian team to watch for this.
We're mutated.
Thank you very much. So, this is a total understanding. You need to understand the totality of this. You have to understand the emotion of it, and this is crucial for the knowledge seekers. There is a discussion if we can use dynamic system for this virus. Possibly yes, possibly no, possibly the dynamic systems become another trap. We can extend the virus in, but we can, from the dynamic system to the body, spread it. Can we use the technology and then
all of our
threatening
month conversation while we're in
deprive the nation of China from the stealing again.
From our messenger.
In a way, we don't let them to commit a crime on our behalf.
The video I was uploading and shared.
John is here. He can show you, as you know, the building for the first enhancement unit center has been built. And
blurred out.
It's getting designed and should be ready in next, hopefully by April. Then worldwide will be ready for use. Is John behind the screen somewhere? Can you see him?
I'm here.
John, would you like to explain to us what is your step at this center? And show us what you're developing.
Okay. So we're actively pursuing. See if I can.
People are gonna start a panic with that 10-second fucking cough shit.
We get it up in the background.
I got these lemmings working worldwide, not understanding that they're gonna kill us all.
We can see your full table.
Oh, you can see it?
Yeah, we see all the pictures.
Alright. How about that?
You have to open it before you open it.
Can you see
You have to open it. Yes, but you have to open it as a full screen to see all your pictures.
Okay, hold on.
You can open one at a time before you share. Stop sharing, open and come back
Get
in.
into his information and get us
Just stop sharing it. Open the screen, the picture you want.
These people are taking over the world.
This is how most of the centers around the world will be, more or less, according to place and the condition. Arizona carries 10 units. 6 units is for what we call enhancement of the body. And 4 units will be used for development and testing for materials, space conditions, environmental changes, and others. We're trying to share the Arizona Center with American Space Agency and Iranian Space Agency for deep space trials. And this is one of the beauty. Common man will use the center as a scientist, watch, and develop technologies for space. As we said, Keshe Foundation, American Space Agency, Iranian Space Agency working together on one team, and then we share. In this part, we will not allow any Chinese interference or involvement, as the Chinese steal technologies they don't share.
These idiots just fumble. They're giving their money from the U.S. government.
We need a clear indication by the Chinese that they stop the behavior. We allow them to share. We plan it to share, but they show that behavior. We have to take away
Get this stuff pushed. So
Can you see that?
they were able to do it like they did to the pigs.
Can you see the picture? Hello?
Do you understand, people?
Yes, John.
You can see the picture?
Tech and so forth. This is a still people.
Yes, John, we can see it. Can you hear me?
In there.
Yep, okay, I can hear you. So this is a concept of how we're putting our facility together.
They've been talking about how
We're
they
giving some help in interior design and
we say is open right now, but closed for COVID.
layout
But it's
by other knowledge seekers. We have a team of
speakers that we talk to
3 beautiful women helping us put this together, including an Argentine
women again.
a French woman, and a lady from the United States. So you can see they're helping us dramatically in terms of coming up with a concept that we feel.
Jamie Wing. You know who this is, don't you?
Yeah.
Block that.
Hang on.
Show us more. supposed to be the space program, but these people can't even do their
I'm
audio
sorry, I gotta do it this
so they
way.
can do their stuff right. You understand? It's the space program. So what do you use? Lie. And
You see that?
still water.
It's still the same picture.
And
Says my screen sharing is paused. Did you pause me? Resume sharing?
Go out and come back in.
I tried to. Okay, now it's working. Okay.
Yeah, we see it now.
copper wire.
That's another
That's an alloy.
picture of the other side of the building.
It's all resistance.
This is our front entrance.
That's our front
You come
entrance.
into our building.
Still the same.
We wanted to create
The front entrance is
create an environment before you even got in. Welcome to a new era. What we're doing is
because the new era is
changing the dynamics of the way that we do things. We're very excited about what the machines can bring for everybody. When you walk in the door, you see this demonstrating new space technology to the world. It's more than just the machines. We're setting. What we want to do is introduce this technology
like you do with me.
to the governments of the world. And
You see them sharing my stuff.
part of the beneficial wellness technology that we're bringing will open people's eyes to what it is that's coming forward. And we hope to be able to demonstrate some
Energy.
other features that will allow people to really take notice of what these machines are all about. This is our conference room. We set it up with what I call the City of Hope. The City of Hope is a vision that I have hold. It's called a wish for creating a new community.
Guys, that you see in my reactor, the size of lighters.
A light city of light.
Lighters.
With our thoughts and our emotional energies. Anybody within the knowledge seeker community wants to add their energies to the City of Hope, please help support it. We believe it's going to be a community where new technologies can come forward to help everybody.
Share anything in their groups.
So that's where we're dreaming. So anybody that comes into our conference room,
China.
they can share in our dream and our wishes.
Anything that is shared is.
So that's what we're doing in Arizona. We have a large facility. You always see a piece of it with the other buildings, or with the other side of the facility. We have a lot of office space. We hope to bring in doctors, technicians to help us start to document what the benefits of these machines will be, and to share videos and correspondence with the rest of the world community.
During broadcasts.
So that's what we're doing in Arizona.
That was a weapon they already used. How they knocked down U.S. drones.
Any questions? That's all the video. That's all the pictures I got.
I have somebody asking me, can you show us the room again with the machines, or do you have a top view of it?
Can you show us them actually working after a year? No, it's been a year.
This one here, you see the dome we have up above all the machines. I want to put some recessed lighting and starlights. This again is the dome. We're building a big dome over all of these machines.
Explain to us how it works. What happens when you're coming in and you're sick?
So you're going to walk in this room.
Where's the energy go that you take?
You're actually going to come in down here at the bottom of the screen. You're going to walk in. You're going to see
all the shit that you guys have been watching
all of the machines.
around the world.
Up here in the front is where the operators will be. These things will slide apart. You see this one slid apart here. And the patients will be in here. You can actually have a little seating area in the center area here where people can also sit and get the benefit of all the machines.
Etsy and the Keshe Foundation. That's what absorbs the disease and changes color and throw it away.
I'm playing with the thoughts.
What happens as it accumulates in the environment? All that energetic.
Maybe to show you the real system.
Is it transferred ownership?
They still haven't showed it a year later.
You
Still hasn't showed you the real system.
Doesn't need to be
10 elevated souls sitting in the 12 elevated souls standing in the circle.
Affect human
Where the
climate.
camera got to show this shit?
Did you hear me, John?
It just
Yes.
YouTube and shit box.
I said I'm playing with the thoughts to show the real system.
Show us the real system.
Show it. We're ready.
It's been built.
It's been a year. Show us what I did.
It's exactly as you have put it. And
Where's the health eggs, dude?
we wait for a few more days, maybe a couple more weeks.
A couple more years.
And then you see the real machine as you have shown. The machines have been built. They're getting assembled, tested for assembly, and everything else. For the combi units to be put in. It looks exactly as you're showing. And the Chinese team and the factory have been working, trying to get it to Austrian team as well for the listening during the holidays and everything else to get everything ready.
What's your excuse?
And we have the units structurally built because there's a lot of testing to be done to get everything as smooth and perfect. And it's exactly as you show it. I would love to share the picture, but
You notice how his voice
we
on
wait
last year
till
when he
it's
stated he was
done
infected, he
properly
cured himself,
position-wise,
barely sounds now.
as now it's going through its
Someone that has
assembly
cured
session.
for COVID,
Fishing pole with
get
the dollar.
infected
And it's
by
amazing.
COVID.
To what you show and what I see on picture in front of me. It'll be hopefully completely completed next by end of sometime mid-March when everything goes back to normality in China. And then we ship out for testing assembly final, and then in April we can produce up to 500 units a month
And
in progressive months.
like the health eggs that I've been talking about for a decade.
This is beautiful. It was, as a politician told me, he said, it just extends the imagination,
And it's worthwhile
but it brings us back to the woman, the mother, how much you could imagine.
and Biden.
And it's very beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous when you see it.
Go back to the
When I saw the first pictures of the assembly units,
keep your eyes open.
it's amazing.
A whole bunch of
It's absolutely amazing.
Poor people.
3-4 teams out there working around the clock to make sure it's not up. The first 20 units will be delivered in April.
so we can control people.
We have everything set up right.
Monitoring.
And the completion of the trial and the 20 units in June, we're starting the mass production to 500 units.
Shoot our satellite around and fucking get the energetics out of you.
Those who buy into this,
Out of the environment.
we can make money off people.
It's literally plug and play unit. And we're waiting for the head of Keshe Foundation to on the medical side to take his position, and then we start.
People when I share it in my group on my business page, Low Energy and Blessings. You can fucking see it.
The thing is, the first pictures are the pictures of the real building, which was now on a transition structure. And now you see how it's going to be looked.
Help you make sure
this place will bring the soul of the man together. It's beautiful. You will see the same thing in Tehran. Hopefully, once we tame the situation. We are still getting over the Tehran conference as we show us Iran progress disease within the next few years. Our process is starting. Iran will be the first nation declaring free from all viruses. An open city.
Like your eye for an eye video of mine.
I've made every effort and I'm sure the Iranian government will do everything possible. And we'll see these kind of centers from now on across the planet. Brazil, Austria. Hopefully in a little island in New Zealand where everybody's waiting for.
Virus that ensures that
and across other places as we can produce and develop and release and learn. These machines are only part of the learning curve and using curve, which means we learn again, and our scientists will spend more time to teach us more. Thank you very much, John. You're welcome. It's a lot of effort, it's a lot of relentless work by John and Jamila and others. And you will see the beauty of this technology in the coming weeks. As I'd love to show you the video of it, but give us a chance. We have to do it properly, and then you will see it.
By killing off so many people and testing it on.
It is strange with this virus, a lot of things changing. We had a report yesterday that one of our teams, Keshe in Tehran, went outside to give a cup of life to somebody on the street and show them on papers how to do it or something in that order. And he noticed a woman walking with 4 bottles under her arms, and it says, "This is a gas plasma water." She bought it from the shop. This is for Corona.
They never took down the Arabic full-length version.
So, as you understand, people in Iran listening are making the waters and selling it on the counter.
Spreading so far.
And people buy it. And my hope is they don't sell empty bottles. We'll carry a certification. And you will see this right across the planet. A plasma water. When you see a logo of the Keshe Foundation with a plasma water, would you support the Keshe Foundation? Because then they can check it's original, because we produce as labels for every system which whoever carries a Keshe Foundation certification can put it in the market. Then you understand how far it has come. Everyone walking down the street accidentally carrying in plasma water for Corona. And she knew apparently exactly what to do with it. The shopkeeper explained well what to do with it.
How to make people into asymptomatic super spreaders. How to mutate
the beauty of it is
can't even fucking
exactly we're going through the same situation as some years. We gave the key, the government did nothing. We told you in the runway with a lot of things. We gave the technology to government to improve. They don't listen. People have taken it and using it themselves. The guy said, how would I know these waters are really goodbye? I said, very simple. Two things. Test it and see if the alkalineness is there if you can. Secondly, spray it on your body and wait and see if you feel any difference. Then you know, you say it's real or just a fake.
That we're sick
In so many ways, mankind has entered the space technology collectively as I wished. And again, as I said, the man will accept this technology not out of his beauty, but of the fear of the demise of his own. But, as I said, we will be ready by this time very soon. We all understand the plasma and the gas technology is because now everybody needs to know how to save gas, plasma, keshe radiation will become part of the world vocabulary in the coming days and weeks.
Do you understand?
This morning, we have received a message from government to respond immediately. I passed it on to our team for documentation to be released for it. This week, we have drone systems across the world, the new technology and systems to be delivered to governments. Yesterday, the keshe radiation in one of the nations received a call from the university. They want they want to use the technology. This afternoon, we meet with a bunch of doctors who want to implement the technology as there is nothing, their patients are dying. We see the reversal. There's a picture which was shared on Thursday on the screen on Tuesday on one world, one nation, one race, one planet. Rick, would you like to show the picture, please?
They raised their flag.
What is interesting is the difference.
Plasma resonance.
We see the Chinese using gases and what we call the huge white smoke. And then we see the new gas technology implemented in China in recent days. The gas technology. The waters which has been supplied by keshe radiation knowledge seekers in China.
Like at the pig farms.
It's got Korean writing in the back.
Military grade rainmakers.
From gas to gas technology.
Alright, where's the actual proof?
And you can see how casual they are.
Where's the actual proof?
Keshe radiation knowledge seekers through the Chinese army are distributing over 1 ton of liquid a day as they tell us. We have their conversation recorded. Thank you very much, Rick.
Thank you, pigs.
On the other hand, if, as we said, you can interfere with no one's life and you can save your life, that's all it is. You're the last man standing. This virus is a prelude to what mankind will come to understand. Many of us traveling from China to Iran, to Italy, to South America have brought with us. It'll be very much the virus brought from Mars, from Jupiter, from planet Zeus, which is the energy pack which does not complement. This is a pre-run of what we're going to face worldwide once we open the universal community to the man.
Look at all the places that they just had.
So, in a way, by teaching you to use the cup of life, you carry this cup of life and knowledge of it into the depths of the space, that when you need it, you don't bring your extra energy back to us to contaminate our environment. What you saw just now from John in the enhancement unit will become the decontamination and virus unit for those who become the traveler.
Wait, they can't clear nobody right now because COVID restrictions. What the fuck kind of retarded shit is that?
As you see, the technology is coming together very rapidly.
Right. You see it on the news. You see it everywhere. People being cured by it.
In every shape or form. Collapse of leadership. Collapse of money.
Because you're
collapse of what we call modern system.
Collapses of leadership and shit.
And of pharmaceutical controlling and dictating whether whatever they would like to threaten mankind. Individual extension of the soul of the man by the man himself. Extension of the ability to support and understand technology to live on this planet and beyond by total understanding of the technology of the creation of universe. If you read my book 3, The Reason of the Universe, you understand what you go through is what is written already. It's for you to decide.
He prophesied to you people he's going to do this and kill the world.
Try
Bring the world to the knees.
Be the user understanding of the plasma out of his pleasure, not out of the fear of it when it comes.
Although the radioactive practitioners and other people
don't forget,
have
I told you something last time,
and other means
and maybe you understand more of it this time.
BeeHive bacterial macrophage will eat this shit. Cytokine storm, chemokines, interferon. Use that to keep the virus from getting infected from this shit.
The body of the man has a soul.
Replicate it, punctatize
So,
into
as the virus,
little silver.
an interesting help,
3 to
so
5
is
parts
the
per
come
million.
of life. And if you understand this and you understood it, how long in our process have we been through this? The intermediary
These people who use this
takes
shit
a
on the
big
world
balance to go.
to make money, or as you would say, have a
That's
disaster.
why your life is
Make
saved.
people take notice to his shit to feel a necessity.
They don't tell you that
Today
toxicity and
is the come of life.
that you're taking in.
Tomorrow in space
A different one, and then a different one, and then a different one. Otherwise, if
viruses and energy
living
currents
on a cup of life shit that
are
thinks,
part of our life.
then you're only getting the first stuff
Now,
that mutated
for the first time,
swine flu to
we learn
ear virus
to respect them and how to live
in
with them.
their paperwork.
As they all have a soul. And you understand it.
Like the gentlemen that we've scanned and many other clients that came before this outbreak happened that were getting mucus and respiratory upper and lower
As I said, the coming
drinking it but just
weeks,
having it near them.
invariants about will go across this planet, not only to support and reverse, but to teach,
See it.
to understand the technology by man as a whole.
All my documentation. I have this.
We don't know borders, no nationality, no religion,
Send you all my information.
and no color.
Send me your information, and I'll send it to you. Send me your address.
When you see this above here on your land, it means the end of the grade of chopping a corner.
Cytokine storm.
And any other
Many other
diseases,
word tuning
you have a
to
friend
help you and your family
and you at home.
against this
And you
bullshit
understand, we extend this about to every nation
and mind
that
control.
will come as part of one,
Stay
one
your
nation.
intrinsic self and stay a fully
All
autonomous
those who
self-organizing system.
listen to me and
Which is
heard
what my senior product was and
that I've been
is.
able to help
And I'm
and
about
send
to
stuff to,
publish,
it's
talking
been getting
and
sick.
explaining how to
and
stay
saving
self.
so.
American government wanted to make this about the biggest enemy. Now they see they have to let them in because the closest friend they find to their lives.
Understand? You have to let me in so I can poison you too.
In a way, if you look at it,
You
the
understand?
American government and its people shot themselves in the foot in a very short time twice. They killed the hell of Sabah,
Trying to get this information
and then they spread
to the U.S.
the virus,
I
and now they have to be saved
information
through Sabah.
to cure this disease and
As
also
I
how
said,
to broadcast
a
it
fool
across the
shoots
globe,
himself in the foot
phones,
and expects to
TVs,
win a battle.
so on and so forth, through epigenetics and optogenetics
We
to
have seen the fool.
protect people
We have seen the end of
across
the
the world,
war.
not just
Now
here
we
in the
see the
United
end of
States.
pharmaceutical warfare, which was supposed to make a lot of money.
BeeHive microphage.
But there is one question still.
This disease.
As I release my patent, which I want to humanity, is meant to be open. Those who use and abuse the patent they buy and understand the laws of justice. In due course, whoever owns the patent and bought the patent of this virus and is ready to kill more has to stand in the human court of justice for genocide.
Doing human trials on why they unleashed it on the world.
We did the same with Saddam as we had with
Bill Gates.
And those who spread it. If you go back to the time in the 60s, women in Europe, in England, in America fought for their right to choose the right to life. They fought to have the right to have abortion or not. It has to be the same for the rest of the mankind. It's our right if we want to be in the path to the population of 7 billion and not for one crazy man deciding on humanity. We've seen what I call the rise of the second Hitler, and we see what happened to him. This time there should be no room for those who set this up. We need to set an example that we don't see these craziness out of people thinking having wealth. They can dictate decision for 7 billion people. My suggestion is they can have an injection in the morning, evening, and lunch as food for them and their children, the way they got the rest of the world injected with the same poisons.
This man is talking about assassinating our president.
Bill Gates.
If it's good for all of us, it's good for them.
This man is talking about assassinating the
The
president of the
man,
United States.
the chef which cooks, tastes his own food first. Any questions?
28 seconds. I'm at 1 hour 28 minutes and 35 seconds, and then just
Mr. Keshe, and as usual, I will tell the attendees you can put your hand up and we can allow you to open your microphone. If anyone of the panelists has a question, they can go ahead.
This man just did a call out to his minions to assassinate the president of the
You
United
have some
States.
questions in the
What, this time last year?
Q&A here. Let's see.
Can I, while you're looking for the questions, can I raise a very important, very important point about those of you who are making cup of life?
Brushed it off and
Some of you have seen the picture we showed originally with a cup of life, and you saw some green materials. Everything has to be good. Some of you are creating some reddish, orangish, yellowish material. Some of you are creating, I cannot draw it, but I draw it in blue.
Assassinate the U.S.
You see
president.
white only. In your, what we call, cup of life. Understand what you create.
Not any of the stuff
The
that I call
copper
them.
is a matter state strength near enough of the plasma of the copper CO. The
But what about the
orange
salt? It's not in the
is
equation.
the strength of the copper in its own strength as a single atom copper.
Right? How is that?
This one is CuO.
Equation for
This
that,
one
you guys.
is Cu. The one you see as white
There's an
is a
equation for
copper
figuring
in
out
the strength
a metal
of
dope
zinc.
solvent, which water is. Its molecular spin.
And what is interesting,
Or its
many of you, which you see white, you usually see it on two levels.
Right?
Because the
That guy
bottom
doesn't use
is
those words to explain it to
CO2
you.
and the top is
And you have
copper
me explaining
strength of
that now in all my videos. He's an Iranian scientist, but he does not explain this stuff. Why you don't want to use salts in your
If you leave your cups and start straight away using it,
positive ions in this use.
you will see after a few days
or do it in
for a few
plastic
hours,
for the leaching of the plastic.
all become green.
You understand?
Because this is atmospheric condition of CO.
No,
And
because
if
of
you
heavy
add
side.
more oxygen to this, you will get this to green as well.
HEAV.
The best one you make, which has a zinc copper, which is good for the soil and physicality, is this one. Those of you who get a white GANs from your cup of life, you have one of the most powerful ones. This is good. They're all copper based. They're all effective what it is. The other point is, please, when you get the GANs in your cup,
Don't use a laser.
when you create the GANs in the bottom of your cup, do not empty the water. Get a syringe and go to the bottom and collect the GANs and fill up with some more fresh salt water. Then the process carries on. You need this. This will go on for years if you can control it for months and months. When you get your GANs and you put it in a bottle to wash it, your GANs, you let it go down, and the water you collect on the top is salty. Keep this to spray on your body or your grasses or front door and
positive ions of
do not get rid of your salt water. It's one of the most powerful you have because it's the best cycles. So it carries a lot of water energy in it. And you carry on again and again till you get a sweet water, which is good for you to drink.
that has a positive cations in it.
The gas does not lose its power as long as you can see it in your bottle. What percentage of salt you use is irrelevant. If you have a good temperature, you have a faster production. If you are sitting, living in the city center and producing because of the high level of CO2, you get a faster production. If you're living in a rural area, you see a slow production. Don't keep on asking, I did this, I did that. For those of you now, you are not in a rush and in a hurry. For the Chinese system, we advise to connect the two wires into the battery. Those of you now, because you're producing carburation and you have time, what you got to do is to get rid of the battery. You don't need the battery. The battery was done for the Chinese community to speed up. What you do, you connect, I'll put it this way, you connect these two together, and then you connect this one, and all you need to do, get another piece of wire which you used here and connect it between here and here.
Because it's salt.
That's all you need to do. You don't need a battery.
Oxidization.
You just connect these. You cannot connect these three together. It's not going to work properly.
Those guys
You need this piece of wire to connect these two together. The resistance of the wire brings a balance and creates a beautiful, mainly green GANs over days. If you're in a warm area, instead if you put it in a balcony, you get more air in the house, you get less. If you get a good airflow, you get a more production. The battery was for emergency and rapid production within hours for China with the disaster. In Iran, they still teach people to do, but if you have time, you made the first GANs box and a couple of lines. Just do the rest just with a piece of wire. You get the same. The wire is to create a potential difference that the salt and the environment of the GANs is created.
But he leaves out the other GAN that he used to make blue air to PSRV.
So don't ask, I have to clean the battery, I have to do this. Can I use this? It's a very straightforward.
Animals. And you've been eating the food. The meats, poultry, pigs, fish, beef.
Those of you who are very advanced in the knowledge, those of you who are advanced very much in the knowledge, if you understood the weight difference between the zinc and the copper, if you can create a mass ratio of the copper in respect to zinc, you only need 3 copper wires or 3 coppers. It's a very specialist way to do it. So you don't need to look for the zinc because your nano layer in between is in salt water. You have created a plasmatic condition. So matter condition does not apply.
It's called oxidization, people. Or in Kelia,
You can even, if you extend the knowledge,
kinetic energy
2
limiting
copper wires nano-coated outside your plastic container.
positive or negative between cations and ations, between a metal
No need for connection.
solvents,
Even
causes
if you
a
want, you
dielectric
can connect
conduction
the 3 together
or not.
and then connect the 2 together and then to a 3rd wire, connect the 2 together. You get the rapid production of calcium massively, but at
Because
this
you're
point in time
sending
you don't.
electricity through metal.
But these
And
3
positive
have to be
gets
what
coalesced,
are called
and your negative
nano-coated.
releases ions into the water. And nano coating is not using lye with distilled water in plastic or low torching the copper wire. I'm
I
sorry.
have to pause it here.
That's your space program.
Trip.
Please, people, wake up.